Last night, the Phoenix Suns and the LA Lakers played, and I have a lot to say about the game and some comments that Anthony Davis made. When it comes to value of the game really didn't mean much. The Phoenix Suns are probably going to get the #1 seed unless something really bad happens, and the Lakers are going to be one of the worst teams in the West because, well, they're just bad. So while for the Suns, it didn't hold any value, and they were going to win that game regardless, I think this game ended the Lakers' season. Obviously, there's the possibility that this team makes the play-in, even though there is a realistic chance this team doesn't even make that, which is so fucking ironic because LeBron said whoever came up with the play-in should be fired. Now that's fucking irony. If you watched the game last night, you could just tell that it was gonna be a really long day for the Lakers. The Phoenix Suns literally blew them out and had 48 points in the first quarter. Now, something I love about this Phoenix Suns team is that Devin Booker, which is considered the best player on this team, really doesn't have to drop 30, 40, 50 points every single game for them to win, which I love that. Granted, I love watching Devin Booker have a 50-point game. You know, it's awesome to see. However, I also really love games where most of the people on the team are scoring and it's a little bit of an equal distribution. Granted, Devin Booker did have 30, but the second unit and some of the other starters really did get some good buckets in the game. Anthony Davis recently just said something, and honestly, it pissed off a lot of Phoenix Suns fans, and I think it might have pissed off the Suns. I'm not gonna waste your time in the intro, but if you could, leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you're new and notifications on. I'm trying to hit 100k by the end of the year. And with all that being said, let's get into the video. I will briefly be mentioning the Suns in this video, obviously, because the main focus is about the Lakers and Suns and I guess their history within this past couple years or so, but I'm not going to really be focusing on the Suns as much. So if you couldn't tell by the intro, last night the Phoenix Suns won 140-110 or something like that. It was a fucking blowout. The Suns were going to win from the start. However, as much as I would like to make a whole 8-minute video based on why the Lakers are a garbage organization and the Phoenix Suns are inevitably going to win a championship, that's not why I'm making this video. See, Anthony Davis had some comments about the Suns and Lakers series in the first round from last year's playoffs. If you don't remember what happened in that series, first of all, I don't know how that was arguably one of the best Phoenix Suns series that I've seen in a very long time. And I know I'm gonna have some old heads telling me about the Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire day, which really isn't that old. However, I'm like 17, so I wasn't even alive, or I just wasn't watching basketball back then. But I say it was one of the best series because first of all, this Phoenix team, despite being the #2 seed, was doubted by so many people. No one thought this team was going to do that well in the playoffs. No one even thought we'd make it out the first round. The Lakers and the Suns have one of the biggest rivalries in NBA history, and for the longest time it was a one-sided rivalry with the Lakers. And when no one said the Phoenix Suns were going to win, after we went down 2-1 and LeBron did that stupid fucking move, Phoenix said, hey, let's go on a fucking tear and end the series, and they did just that. Now people want to talk about the Anthony Davis injury, but we forget like Chris Paul didn't have one fucking hand during that series. And the only reason I'm even bringing up this series is because last night Anthony Davis had something to say about it. In a tweet by Dave McKennaman, he said the following: Anthony Davis asked if his groin injury is the main reason the Lakers didn't beat the Suns in the playoffs last year. Says it was. We know that. They know that. They got away with one. Shut the fuck up, street clothes. As much as I'd love to get into an hour documentary titled Why the Phoenix Suns Came Back versus the fucking Lakers and everyone had a problem with it, I'm not gonna do that. But just a reminder, you guys are acting like we didn't have fucking Chris Paul for the whole series. In game 1, he had a fucked up wrist or hand or whatever the fuck it was, and he was out for the rest of the series practically. Yeah, he fucking played, but it was like if he had one hand and went out there and played. Yeah, I guess he's out there, it's his body, his leadership, all the other stuff, but it doesn't equivalent to actual winning. Meanwhile, you guys had Anthony Davis and you were up 2-1. Don't just fucking ignore the fact that Chris Paul got injured. We're not gonna just pretend like that didn't happen. It happened and no one likes to bring it up. But you know what, since we're bringing up stuff that no one likes to talk about, let's talk about the fact that LeBron James literally gave up during that series. He literally left the court in game 5 and game 6 and abandoned his sorry fucking excuse of a team. The fact Anthony Davis is saying they got away with one is fucking hilarious to me. If the Suns were such a joke of a team, why couldn't LeBron carry them? Because it's not like he's not capable of doing that. Have you seen him this year? The motherfucker is the leading scorer in the NBA at age fucking 50. If he couldn't do it last year, then why is he doing it this year? And you had a better roster back back then, so you can't use that excuse either. If I'm being honest, if the Lakers and Suns were gonna play on a playoff series, I'm more scared of last year's team than this one. Like I said, I'm not gonna go into an hour-long documentary about why the Suns beat the Lakers in that series. However, I'm just gonna say this: that will always be my favorite series that I've ever watched of NBA basketball of all time. Now, that was last year's playoffs, about 9 months ago, so let's talk about present day. After the game, Devin Booker was asked if he heard about the comments, and this is what he had to say.
Nah, that's what's gonna happen anyways. I just think it's funny. It just is. I know what you're trying to do to win, but yeah. Nah, it's just all the ifs, and if was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. If my auntie had something between her legs, she'd be my uncle. It's a lot of ifs in this game, and you look at history along the lines, like there's something that comes up for every team during every season. So instead of just taking the high route and going, you have to make a comment like that. It's kind of funny.
And I would say that he was right when it comes to the comment about most teams have at least one lucky break on their finals run. However, when it comes to Phoenix, I'm more gonna say they got lucky versus the other LA team with Kawhi Leonard. If Kawhi wasn't injured, I'd say it'd be a pretty close series, even though I think it went to 6 if I'm not mistaken. I mean, then again, the Suns didn't have Chris Paul for the first 2 games, so it's not like Phoenix wasn't dealing with anything. Oh, and Phoenix won that game, by the way, both of them. Last year was last year playoffs. You guys are arguably the worst team in the Western Conference, and y'all are talking shit right now. How about y'all worry about making the fucking playoffs instead of saying we have the Suns right where we wanna play them in a series instead of the Warriors. Talking about, oh, we got them right where we wanna, we rather play them. Like, shut the fuck up. That is so disrespectful to the fucking team that knocked you out, made LeBron James change his jersey number, and made LeBron have to make a whole new team just because you lost one fucking series to a guy named Devin Booker and the fucking Phoenix Suns. Wait, don't doubt playoff LeBron. That's such a bad idea. Man, fuck playoff LeBron. You were up 2-1 and folded like a fucking omelet. All you had to do was win 2 games. Mind you, you guys were up by 10, so if you could have secured that game, it would have been 3-1, and that's not an ideal situation for the Suns. Oh, and also the Phoenix Suns didn't have one of the greatest point guards of all time in that game because he had a fucked up hand, and if he was playing, again, he was playing with one hand. They got away with one. Shut the fuck up, street clothes. Like I said, we're in present day, and the Phoenix Suns are inevitably going to win the NBA championship, especially because last night, I think they just proved that their depth is very good. I think they proved that they're one of the most complete teams in the NBA, and there's not a lot of teams in basketball that have a complete team like the Phoenix Suns. Truthfully, it was a fun game to watch. I loved watching everyone get involved, and everyone was eating. It was so amazing, and honestly, and I said this on my Twitter, and if you're not following my Twitter, what are you doing? But I said, quote, I'm in love with 2 things, Molly Morrison and the Suns beating the dog shit out of the Lakers on national television. I mean, seriously, who doesn't love seeing the Lakers get beat on national television? Like, I think a lot of people would enjoy that. I'm gonna end off with this. I think Anthony Davis should have just shut the fuck up and not even talk about that series. He could have done nothing about it considering he loves to get injured. While I definitely think the Anthony Davis injury helped the Phoenix Suns, there's no doubting that. I think we also need to talk about that the Phoenix Suns also had a disability. If you want to say that injury helped the Suns, then by all means say that. I'm not against saying that. I think that's a valid argument. But saying that the Phoenix Suns don't even win that series because of the injury is fucking blasphemy. Phoenix went to the finals for a reason, and granted, I don't like talking about shit that they didn't win. I still need to mention that because it's not a fluke of a run. I mean, the Lakers won a championship and haven't even been a top seed since, and they've always been one of the worst seeds in the Western Conference. So I don't know, maybe they were a fluke, who fucking knows? But seriously, it's damn near a year later. Why are we still talking about this? I mean, LA might not even make the playoffs, and the Phoenix Suns are the best team in basketball right now, and I think Phoenix Suns fans are enjoying every single second of this.